For today's video, we're going to look at the Colonial Kitchen decal used by Homer Laughlin from the late 1930s to mid-1950s. So we'll start by looking at the decal itself. Very colorful, bold decal with the fireplace, kitchen scene. This was introduced at the Pittsburgh show in January of 1939 on the Swing Eggshell shape. And here is a copy of a write-up from the Pittsburgh exhibit. The write-up is dated February 1939 and it appeared in an issue of China, Glass and Lamps. And it talks about each pottery and what they displayed. For Homer Laughlin, there were 3 items. First was Serenade Dinnerware, which came in the 4 pastel glazes. They talk about how it's similar to Fiesta in its marketing and that it's 25% less. It also talks about some shoulder decorations on the Nautilus shape. And then it mentions Swing Eggshell with Colonial Kitchen in this section here. Colorful and informal design called Colonial Kitchen, finished with a yellow rim on swing shape. And that's what we have on the table. This is treatment S179. A swing eggshell covered sugar, a creamer, coffee pot. This is slightly larger than the demi-tasse coffee pot, which is a little more common. Coupe soup. And a platter. One thing I want to mention about Swing Eggshell, particularly with the hollowware, is that most patterns on Swing Eggshell have colored handles and finials on the hollowware. So for example, on this one we see the pink handles and finials. And this pink is in the clay, and then it's given a clear glaze. So it's the same pink that would have been used in Craft Pink, and the blue version is the same that would have been used in Craft Blue. We can look at the Swing Eggshell marking on this one. There were 2 markings. One that says Swing Eggshell, and the second marking just says plain eggshell. Oh, that one's Swing Eggshell. Let's see if we can find a plain one. There, Homer Laughlin Eggshell. So you've got the pink, you've got the blue, and then there was green. And this was actually called Celadon, green clay. But with Colonial Kitchen, they didn't do colored handles and finials. Instead, they did just plain white ones and gave it some yellow trim. We'll go back to the write-up very quickly just to show what some of the other potteries were doing at the time. Again, this was written in February 1939, and we have Hall China. It talks about 6 new teapots: Rhythm, Birdcage, Aladdin, Melody, Surfside, and Nautilus. Also mentioned several different patterns: Meadowflower, Fantasy. Taylor Smith & Taylor introduced Coralcraft on their pink Luray. Also some Luray pieces were added, the double centerpiece vase, the 4-piece relish after dinner coffee, and so on. Let's see, Edwin M. Knowles introduced the Potomac shape, and French Saxon introduced some patterns on Zephyr. Salem China introduced Minuet on Victory. But for Homer Laughlin at the Pittsburgh show in '39, it was Serenade, Nautilus, and Colonial Kitchen. This is a mock-up for an advertisement. I say it's a mock-up or a proof because there are no prices listed. But we see the Colonial Kitchen design here on Swing Eggshell. American-made Colonial Kitchen design, beautiful, new, different. And they were offering 32-piece sets or 53-piece sets. This decal was used on many other Homer Laughlin shapes. We see that quite often. It's very rare that a decal was introduced by Homer Laughlin and stayed in one shape. This one jumps around to several others, including Liberty, Nautilus Ivory, Eggshell Nautilus, Rhythm, and Virginia Rose. So here's Virginia Rose with gold trim. Late 1940s, this is 1949. We see it on Eggshell Nautilus, again with the yellow band that you also see on Swing Eggshell. And this is treatment N1761. So we have the square plate from Eggshell Nautilus. Again, Eggshell Nautilus, this one time with red trim. This is treatment N1747. Late 1940s. And again with the red trim on Eggshell Nautilus, Teacup and Saucer. Liberty, there were two versions on Liberty. L608, which we see here with gold edge line, and L614 with no edge line. So we have the platter, a 9-inch plate, a creamer, dated 1940, let's see, that's kind of smudged. It's I can't tell, it's in the 40s. Let's look at another piece. Teacup and Saucer, the saucer is dated 49. And the last shape it appears on is Rhythm. And there were two in Rhythm, RY250, which had no edge line, and then you have this one, which is RY109, which has a red band. We have a Rhythm teapot. With the decal on the finial, and it is dated 1952. So that's it for Colonial Kitchen. Rather common treatment, especially when it's on Swing Eggshell, Liberty, and Virginia Rose.